BTS News Today. Incheon, October 2025. Cheers that roared together with unstoppable tears. A sea of purple lights from thousands of light sticks shaking the atmosphere of the airport, and the emotional embrace between idol and fans turned that day into something like a grand stage that was never planned. Park Jimin, the Machi of BTS, set foot once again in his homeland after a week under the world's spotlight at Paris, where his name became the center of attention at Dior Paris Fashion Week 2025. Yet, his return to Korea brought something more than just the homecoming of a K-pop star. It carried a story of love, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between artists and fans, who have now become a huge family called ARMY. Since dawn, Incheon International Airport was already packed with thousands of people. Some carried large posters of Jimin's face with heartfelt messages, some brought little dolls dressed in Dior outfits, and others simply stood for hours clutching BTS light sticks as though those were their only source of strength. Tears had already been heard even before the plane carrying Jimin had actually landed, as if thousands of hearts were ready to burst from longing that could no longer be contained. Cameras from local and international media lined up at the arrival gate. No one wanted to miss even a second of this return. When the airport loudspeaker finally announced that the flight from Paris had landed safely, a wave of cheers erupted. Shouts of Jimin mixed with ARMY's hysterical cries. Those voices pierced through the glass, as if trying to send a message to their idol that they had been waiting faithfully. On the plane, according to other passengers seated nearby, Jimin was seen wearing a black mask and a simple bucket hat, trying to hide himself from view. But even that disguise could not conceal his star aura. He was seen bowing his head at times, staring at his phone screen, then closing his eyes in silence. No one knew for sure what he was thinking, but many believed he was preparing his heart for the storm of emotions awaiting him outside. When the arrival gate finally opened and the petite figure of Jimin appeared, the screams instantly grew louder, and the airport atmosphere completely changed. It was as though a surprise concert was happening, except this time Jimin was not singing. He only walked slowly, waved his small hand, and smiled faintly behind his mask. But that faint smile was enough to make hundreds of ARMYs in the front rows collapse into tears. Some even cried out hoarsely, "We're proud of you, Jimin." That simple sentence echoed repeatedly from every corner, creating a chorus that sounded like a prayer at the same time. TV cameras zoomed in on his eyes, which were glistening. Although the mask covered part of his face, the flashing lights of the cameras revealed something that could not be hidden, tears falling quickly, which he immediately wiped away with his right hand. That moment made the internet explode. A short video clip of Jimin wiping his tears at the airport spread instantly, with the hashtags #WelcomeHomeJimin and #ProudOfYouJimin dominating global trending topics. Many interpreted those tears not only as the emotion of seeing the sea of ARMY waiting for him, but also as the weight of the journey he had just gone through. Dior Paris Fashion Week 2025 was no ordinary stage. It was a high-stakes moment where every eye in the fashion world was watching him, judging his steps, even comparing him to global fashion icons. But Jimin managed to rise above it all. He didn't just attend as a guest, he became the centerpiece of the story. From the moment he stepped onto Dior's red carpet, the cheers of the crowd and the camera flashes centered on him, leading many media outlets to write that Paris was not only about Dior, Paris that day was about Jimin. And now, after that great triumph, he returned to Korea carrying an immeasurable pride that as he made his way through the sea of fans, Jimin paused for a moment. He lifted his hand high, forming a finger heart. The gesture was simple, but its power was immense. The airport erupted even louder, with cheers and sobs mixing uncontrollably. Some ARMYs even fell to their knees, clutching their chests in disbelief that the person they loved so dearly was standing just a few meters away. Airport security looked overwhelmed, trying to control the crowd, yet the atmosphere could not be contained. Several times Jimin stopped just to gaze longer at the tear-stained faces. There was something in his eyes, a tenderness that words could not capture, as if he wanted to say, "I see you, I feel you, and I love you." One of the most touching moments occurred when a young ARMY in a wheelchair tried to hold up a poster that read, "Jimin, thank you for being my strength." The poster almost slipped from trembling hands, But suddenly Jimin stopped, turned, and quickly approached. His faint smile was visible even behind the mask as he gently touched the fan's hand. The moment lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to make the entire airport erupt again in cheers and tears. Media outlets captured that moment, calling it the most emotional scene of the year. Afterward, Jimin continued toward the black car waiting at the exit. But before entering, he turned once more, raised both hands high, and bowed deeply. That respectful gesture silenced the crowd for a moment before erupting again into hysterical cheers. He entered the car, rolled down the window slightly, and with tearful eyes, waved one last time before the vehicle drove away. But the emotional story did not end there. Once home, Jimin immediately logged onto Weverse and wrote a short message. "Army, I'm home. I saw you. I heard you. I felt you. Thank you for waiting for me. I will never forget today. I cried, but only because you made me feel such immense love. Let's stay together, now and forever." Just a few sentences, but enough to melt millions of hearts once again. That day, Incheon Airport was not just a place of arrival. It became a witness to the immense love between an idol and his fans. The cheers, the tears, and the sea of armies welcoming Jimin home from Paris were not just a crowd. They were the real embodiment of a bond forged for more than a decade. A bond that could not be broken by distance, time, or even life's storms. That Jimin's return from Paris left a mark that will never be forgotten, not only for ARMY, but also for the world. Because behind Dior's glamour, behind the flashing cameras, lies a simple yet grand story. The story of a young man from Busan who is now a global icon, and of millions who always wait for his steps, welcoming him home with endless love. From the moment he stepped out of the black car that brought him to the Dior venue, the atmosphere changed. He wore a special Dior black suit with fine silver detailing on the collar, paired with classic leather shoes that gave his steps confidence. But what captured the world's attention wasn't only his outfit, it was the aura he radiated. He didn't just arrive as a guest, he arrived as the main star. His calm yet sharp gaze, perfect posture, and faint smile under the flashes of cameras turned Jimin into the center of gravity that night. Leading fashion media quickly published breaking news. Vogue described Jimin's look as the perfect blend of Korean softness and European haute couture boldness. Harper's Bazaar even wrote, "Dior may have designed the stage, but Jimin brought it to life." Immediately, his photos filled timelines around the world. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all flooded with clips and images of him. The hashtags #JiminAtDior and #Paris Fashion Week shot to the top of global trends, overtaking all other topics that night. What was even more surprising was the roar of the audience outside the venue. Usually, fashion fans wait to see models or Hollywood celebrities. But this time, the majority of the shouts were from ARMY. They came from different countries, bringing BTS light sticks, posters reading "Jimin Our Star," and even outfits inspired by Jimin's stage style. The atmosphere outside the venue felt like a mini concert. Some onlookers who initially came only for the fashion show got carried away, screaming along, even if they didn't know BTS songs. That's Jimin's power, uniting people from different backgrounds just with his presence. Inside the venue, while models walked the runway and Dior's latest designs and music filled the hall, cameras couldn't stop focusing on Jimin's calm, radiant face.